So this section of the canal is so clean now, so clear, all thanks to this amazing machine. So I'm at Templars Firs. This is the Wilts and Berks Canal, and it's the Royal Wootton Bassett section. First off, on the left here, we have a council depot, which is no longer in use. It's probably costing us, the taxpayer, quite a lot of money to maintain and secure and all that lot, and it's just empty. Now, what you can't see here yet is behind us over here where we're walking to is the end of the current restored section of the Wilts and Berks Canal. The canal line ran across these houses here. Now that's now lost. It was during the war, when lining was expanded, they built houses here for the RAF personnel. So what the plan would be for the canal would be to divert slightly, and instead of going sort of through there and trying to get past the houses, you could run it across here and have it through the top of that land over there. Now that could make a really good mooring basin. It could have a visitor centre for the canal and car park for people to walk down the canal. So much could be done with that bit of land, and it's not being used. But anyway, here we are, the first part of the canal, and you may notice already why we're here. So this canal was always a very, very heavily reeded canal. It was impassable most of the time, and they got the workboat Nelson to try and clear it, but I think it was too far gone. It was last cleared in something like 95, and you need to clear canals of silt sort of at least every 20 years. So they had a bit of an issue. They couldn't get the boat through, so that's got a reach arm, and the plan is to use that to dig and to dredge, but they couldn't get it through. So there was some money left over from a legacy fund, so that has paid for a machine called a Truxor. Now a Truxor it's a little barge, and it's quite nimble. It sits high in the water, and you can put a variety of attachments onto it, digger buckets, and you can get like a reed cutter on it and stuff like that. So what they did, they hired it for 6 or 7 days. It cost about £6,000. Like I said, it came from this fund, which was for this section to be done. Well, they've done a marvellous job, to be honest with you. So let's just have a quick walk down, and we can look at some of the sections, and there's also some more bits I want to show you. So you may have remembered some of my older videos that I did down here, and the reason why I started doing these videos was to be able to look back, really. So it was originally started as a Wilts and Berks thing, and I wanted to just cover like my local area. I was a member of the Wilts and Berks, a volunteer and stuff, and I wanted to be able to look back in sort of 2, 5, 10 years and see what changes have been made. So to come back to a site now like this and actually do a bit more recording is quite good. It's not, a major project going on, but it's, look at it, it's so clear, it looks like a canal now. It doesn't just look overgrown. And now that this machine has been down, the boat up there, their dredger, can get down there and keep it clear, and that's the important thing. So the money, although expensive to do, is definitely a worthwhile investment in the grand scheme of things. I just want to thank Chloe and the Wilts and Berks Canal Trust, who have allowed me to use the footage that they've done down here with the Truxor in action. I couldn't get down here to sort of see it myself, so thank you very much for that. So if you've been following on social media, you'll know that I'm doing a challenge. It's a year-long challenge. It's 1,000 miles extra walked, so it's not my day-to-day stuff, like going to work and pottering around the house or whatever. It's out walking, exploring, doing this sort of thing, walking a dog and all that lot. And the idea of it is to make myself more active, hopefully lose a bit of weight. Now, you may have noticed I've put on weight. I've definitely got a bit rounder in places and a bit saggier in others, and I go on about constantly how much this sort of thing here is good for your mental health, and it's brilliant. But another thing is keeping healthy, and I learned years ago when I was quite healthy, quite fit, that it encourages you, and the more exercise you do, the more you want to do, the better you feel. So 2.74 miles per day, which is what this challenge is, I'm hoping is enough to kickstart me into having a better life and a better future for myself and for my family, really. So please do sponsor if you can. The proceeds go to the Wilts and Berks Canal Trust. There's a Just Giving page in my description. So you may notice here that there are still reeds on the sides, and that's been done for a reason. So as part of the canal's kind of commitment to the environment, they leave reeds in places for nesting. Now what will happen is this side will probably be cleared completely, and the far side will be left with some reeds to allow nesting for birds and ducks and stuff. The main reason for the Truxor was to clear a path through, and you can see all through here there is a path that their boat Nelson can come through and carry on the job that it started. But over the back there you'll see quite dirty stuff. Now that is basically everything that was pulled up out of here. So this is Hancock's Water, I think it's called, and if you go over the other side of the railway there's a new development. And what was happening as the work was going on this site, aggregate was being washed down into the stream, which feeds into here and mixing with the sediment in the bottom of the canal. And this bit especially became impassable. Now the Truxor, like I said, has 2 attachments. It's got a bucket, and you'll see here where they're digging it in, they can scoop it out and the seat goes back to counterweight the balance on the boat, and then they bring it across and they would dump it over inside there where it's spread thinly over the ground. By the time the summer comes along, that'll all be grown over, you won't know it's there, the grass will grow through it, and you'll be left with a very nutrient rich soil up on the top there. That clip was just here, and you can see the stream coming in there now. So it went from being only sort of very shallow, a few inches deep in places here, to a good few foot deep, that the Nelson can now come down and carry on the work. And as we get through to the other side of this bridge, you'll also see that was all cleared, that was all very reeded up. Certainly the last time I was down here, you couldn't really see the canal. So this section here is technically a river. So what you've got is the water comes down through the stream. It runs down through this section, and a bit further down here, which we'll get to in a minute, is a spillway there, which takes the water out. So this bit does get a lot of sediment build up. So here's a spillway I spoke about. It doesn't always flow as well as this, but with the amount of rain we've been having, it's quite full. So you've got several arches coming out over there, which leads to this. So this stays full, if I remember, and then obviously that's your overflow, and then you've got further overflows along here if the water level gets high, which you can see it's running now, and that runs off down the stream there. It's actually quite nice down here. There's a little walk down through, you can see it, all waterfalls all the way through. I don't know if these stones were all old canal stones that were washed away, but it's created a lovely little waterfall and rapids area. So the fund I mentioned was the Vic Miller Fund. I've just had a message from Chloe at Wilts and Berks Canal to let me know. So part of that as well is that they want to get a trip boat down here. Now they've cleared, this is the end of this section, there's another section further up. This has been largely cleared and will be able to be cleared further by Nelson. They already have the trip boat, they purchased it, it's ready to go, it's being stored somewhere at the moment I believe, and the hope is once the gate is fixed at the other end, there's like a rising barrier to stop people from driving down here. Once that's fixed, they can bring the boat in, and then they can run boat trips down here. So they have this boat ready to go, and they can start generating a bit of revenue and opening people up to the canal down here, which is great. So on my last video, I got this completely wrong. I said this was a lock here. Now, thanks to the wonderful memory maps, I found out I was wrong. So this was in fact a bridge. The lock's a bit further down, and it was because of memory maps and waterway routes, who gave me a big map for it. I have this. So here's memory maps. If you've never seen it before, I put it on a few of my videos. You've got a normal map on there, and you can zoom in on anywhere. If you've got all the maps, or whatever maps you've got, you can zoom in, and it zooms in onto the canal with your location. So there we go, bridge, and the lock is just around the corner in the field here. So one of the reasons why I've come down this time of year as well is whilst I was here, I found the remains of the bridge, and this is what made me look, because I thought that doesn't look like a lock, that looks like a bridge, and it's because it is a bridge. So here we go, here's the remains hidden away in the undergrowth. You won't see this in the summer, it's too overgrown here, but there's the old brickwork. And there's brickwork on this side as well. So here, the canal's behind us there, and it does start curving around to here, and then the canal, which you'll see us walking up in a second, is there. So in fact, the arch was where I'm standing now. So it's the arch that's been lost in the middle, and you've got the abutments on sort of both sides of here. So as you can see on the waterway route maps, we've just come down over that little boggy bit you saw, and the lock is just ahead of us. Now if you carry on up, you've got Chaddington Lock right there, which isn't very far at all. That's actually, that lock's rebuilt, which we'll get to in a minute, and then this is all in water. And then we're going up into this field, and apart from there being another such a slight rise here on the footpath, and I mean slight, it's not very big, I don't think you'd ever know that this was once a lock here. We are coming up now to what would have been the second bridge in this section that needs restoring. That's the canal down there. It's quite a nice area outside of the big settlements of sort of Swindon and all that lot. So here's the bridge, look. So it's just been sort of flattened and a little culvert put under. So the bridge is actually showing up kind of further across here on the maps. So it would have been here rather than across there. It does seem to be pretty accurate with its locations. So yeah, we would have been on it now. It's long gone now. Oh yeah, there's some brickwork there actually. Quite dirty brickwork. That could have been an old wing wall or part of the bridge abutment, I'm not sure. So this is the end of the unrestored into the restored, and this takes you all the way up to pretty much the edge of Swindon now. I'm just going to go a bit further up for this video, but I'm not covering that section. There are videos on my channel if you want it. There's another feeder stream into here though, so as you can see, this is quite a well-fed canal up here. This section is, like I said, originally the summit of this lock and was restored in the early 2000s. We'll get a bit more into that in a minute. The lock itself wasn't completely gone. The farm here was bought by the council in 1999, I think it was, and they cleared the line above here of trees in the following year to allow restoration work to happen. So the WRG team, the Dig Deep team, came here in October 2000. It was delayed a few times, but they managed to dig the lock out, and they found that the lower 4 foot 6 inches of the lock was intact. So just needed rebuilding sort of higher up. You can see where the gate would be here and at the other end, and it's currently just cut off with stop planks. So there is water in the top section. You've got a big area around here which is like a nature reserve. It's quite nice walking in the summer. It's very boggy this time of year. So we'll walk just a little bit further up here. There's a spillway here, and then you're kind of at a dead end of canal. So although there's loads more canal further down, there is an obstruction at, I think it's Binknoll Lane, and they've got to put a bridge there. Now unfortunately there's farms on the other side of here, so that when they build that bridge, although they've got plans for it, they're going to have to divert the road, build a temporary bridge, build the new bridge, and then divert, kind of like Schoolhouse Bridge did on the Monty, if you've been watching my videos on that. So here we are. I can hear it running now. Again, this does run quite a lot, but it sounds quite a lot compared to usual. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. It needs a bit of a clear out actually. Let's see all the debris that's washed down. That may actually be to do with the work that's been going on up here, because they've been cutting the reeds, and that looks like reeds to me. So it's either dead reeds that have come down, or it's from the work further up. And we're on to the lane, like I said, and we've got the Marilyn True has done some maps. So she's got these dotted all along the canal now. Marilyn True is a volunteer on the canal, and also she does a lot of different maps with different people and different organisations. Well worth a look onto her website. So let's go to this lane anyway. You can see it's got 2 culverts underneath, so you need to replace this bridge. It probably won't be an arch bridge because they aren't really used anymore. Humpback bridges are hated now by councils, so they tend to fit a deck, like a more modern concrete deck. But if you do anything like the bridge on the Monty that we've been covering, you can kind of still make it look pretty traditional by facing the concrete with bricks and stuff. So this is Studley Grange section. You can see it's clearer than what it was before. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.